Yes, Mr. Haas, I agree. It was a bit disappointing, Bahrain, but we got a double point finish, so it's not the end of the world. Yes, I know we were being held up by Hamilton and the Mercedes, but I think you're looking at it the wrong way. We were being held up by Hamilton and the Mercedes. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Kicking Haas. Today we have the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, the second race of our second season. And it was a little bit disappointing in Bahrain, I've got to be honest. I thought we'd do a little bit better than we did, but in the end, a double points finish, 4 points with Logan Sargeant's fastest lap as well. And both our drivers sit there with 2 points. So it could have been worse, let's be honest. It's not the end of the world, but I'm hoping we'll do a little bit better here. Now, a couple of things to catch you up on here. We have had our new suspension design has been completed. We are manufacturing it. There's only a 4-day gap between this race and Bahrain, so there's not really been a chance to get anything new onto the car, but I'm hoping that I think Melbourne is next. There's a little bit of a gap there. We're not going to have all probably enough pieces for both cars, but certainly on one car, and that'll be whoever's ahead in the championship. That's the way that the big teams do it, or any team does it really, isn't it? Then they'll get that part, and hopefully they won't crash, and it will it'll benefit us. Now we have got, if we go to drivers, we have managed to get some points here, development points. So for Logan Sargeant, I think we will put that into let's go to cornering, try and get him a little bit quicker, and then we should probably should have done it maybe on control, but we'll do that next. And the other driver that's got a development point is our American reserve driver Kaylen Frederick. We're going to give him some free practice time here, I think, in FP1, so we'll get that onto cornering, and we'll just kind of see where he stands compared to Sargeant, because we know K-Mag has how many years left on his contract. If we go to contract here, he has 2 years left, so he's got basically this year and then next year. And at the end of next season, we need to have another American ready to go. So I'm hoping that's going to be Jack Crawford. We want to know if he's 18 yet, don't we? So let's go and have a look if he is. Nope, he is still 17. So we'll get Kaylen Frederick. We'll give him some seat time just in case maybe he's the man that's going to have to come in. Although you'd think in 2 years' time he would finally have turned 18, Crawford. But anyway, let's go and have a look and see what we are expecting here from the Jeddah circuit. We're expecting no rain, as you would expect, for the Middle East. We can see the sectors there for when we do qualifying. Blue sector 1, yellow sector 2, and red sector 1, blue sector 2, and yellow sector 3. It's all a little bit confusing there though, isn't it? But anyway, that is that. Sections by speed. It is a very fast track, isn't it? Some medium speed sections as well, a couple of traction zones, but nothing too strenuous, I wouldn't have thought. We can see there all the timings, expected strategies. It's expected to be a one-stop potentially. You could put on a set of softs and do a two-stop. I think if we're going to put a set of softs on, it's going to be at the end if there's a safety car, isn't it? So there we go, and there is the compound performance as well. 8 to 20 laps only for the soft tyre. So I mean, 20 laps isn't bad if you can get that out of it. So we'll see. We'll see how we go. Let's head off to Saudi. Actually, no, before we do that, we've got to go and do our performance targets. Reach Q3. You would hope if that's the target, we can then reach Q2. And a qualifying position of 12th. I'd like to think that is all very achievable for us. Fastest lap. Well, we got it last race, but let's not make that something that's going to be, I don't think it's going to happen all the time. And our finishing streaks, we need one car in the top 14, and again, that should be very achievable for both cars, I would hope, definitely for one. All right, off to Saudi we go. Now, one thing I forgot to do is see how we did last year, which is a bit of an oversight on my part. But anyway, I'm going to go and do some free practice. I'll see you for qualifying, and hopefully, no one's going to have new parts on the car here, are they? So let's hope that we do a little bit better with the car we have than we did in Bahrain. Okay, so free practice is done, and not too bad, I've got to say. FP1, we had Sargeant in 8th, Kaylen Frederick 13th, which was absolutely fine for him, to be honest. I mean, he beat both AlphaTauris, he beat a McLaren, albeit on a McLaren on a harder tyre. He beat Albon, yep, again, on a harder compounded tyre. So I thought he did it. That's absolutely fine for his first go. Brilliant stuff. FP2, we had K-Mag 8th, Sargeant 11th, and then FP3. 8th and 12th. So it's looking as though we should be comfortably through Q1. Magnussen should get into Q3, and Sargeant, if he pulls out a lap, might be able to get himself into Q3, but he's looking more likely to be a Q2 exit. Now, if we have a look at setups, more or less as good as it can be. So let's get out there. I'm not going to show Q1 again unless we're in danger of not getting out, and we should be fine. So let's just confirm that. So indeed, we were absolutely fine. K-Mag just did the one run in 9th. Sargeant did a second run just to make 100% sure of things, so he got through in 12th. So that's more or less where we were looking at in free practice. So let's go into Q2 now and see if we can maybe sneak both cars through. Alright, so we are coming around second run. First run on used tyres, we see Sargeant is currently 11th, a little bit outside of Gasly's time in 10th. Magnussen is looking relatively comfortable in P7. Now, while we're doing this lap with Sargeant, I do need to say a big thank you to a Patreon supporter who's increased his pledge. So massive thanks, Dave Mortram. Greatly appreciated. As I've said many times, it is not expected at all, but it is greatly appreciated. If you do enjoy my content and you are able to, there's a link to the Patreon down the bottom of the description there. But yeah, just keep watching the ads for me, and that is more than enough. Now, Sargeant has done a green first sector. How does that compare? Everybody is doing green sectors except for K-Mag. Hopefully, that's not going to matter. There's the checkered flag, but we knew that was going to come out. And let's see, Sargeant has done... Sargeant is the last man on track as well. He's done another green sector. K-Mag has done a green middle sector as well. K-Mag down to 9th is slightly concerning. Let's see what he can do. He is now the man at risk, and he is now out. K-Mag is out, and Sargeant... No, K-Mag's back in. Sargeant is 12th. So confirmation of Sargeant's elimination. He will start the Grand Prix 12th. K-Mag, it takes a little bit of time for when he crosses the line for the time to update. And I was very worried, but by about a 10th of a second, he's got himself into Q3. So let's head into Q3. Alright, so we have K-Mag, last man on track. He had 2 new sets of tyres to do this and still have because he saved a set in Q1, so he's still got a fresh set for the race if needed. He's currently sitting P9, though Sainz is behind him, so you suspect that Sainz will probably do a better lap. Let's see K-Mag's first sector split here. He has been closer to the front than this. I'd like to think we could maybe get in front of the Alfa Romeos of Bottas and Gasly if possible. We have gone faster in the first sector. Nobody else is going faster, so that's promising. We've done a faster middle sector as well. Where can K-Mag pop himself on the grid here, I wonder? Nobody is going faster except for K-Mag and Sainz as well. Now, Sainz is in front of us on the track. Sainz will move up. K-Mag, 2 green sectors, and he goes 4th! Go on, K-Mag! So, no need to worry about being stuck behind Hamilton here. K-Mag is 4th, and that is absolutely massive. That's a huge improvement from our previous sessions. So, there we go. Wonderful stuff. And, of course, with no penalties, we don't have to worry about that. Now, what do we do strategy-wise? If there's one stop available, I think we do that. We maybe... I mean, it was the risk of the undercut, of course, if we go a little bit longer. But I think... we want to have a more even split on the tyres if possible. And we do, of course, then have the option. I think if we go medium hard, we then have the option of the soft tyre later on if we want to take it. I think with K-Mag, he's a little bit better on his tyre, so we might look to avoid an undercut there with him. Yeah, avoid an undercut, so it'll be a slightly less time on the mediums, going to the hards a little bit earlier at the end. And I think of all the races, this is the one we want to make sure we're deploying early on here and just make up as many places as we can, particularly with K-Mag. If he can get himself in a DRS train with the lead group, then he could be on for big points today. Okay, welcome back. Look at K-Mag up there in 4th, a Ferrari Red Bull front row. We've seen that many times, haven't we? And we are away. Let's jump on board. Let's see, Sargeant in 12th has got himself a decent-ish start. K-Mag's the one, though, isn't it? Can he hold position off the line? It looks like he has. Oh, wait, no, we've got a sneaky little Hamilton there. Now, we don't want to fall behind him again. We've seen before that the Mercedes, they do tend to lack a little bit of race pace. Sargeant has stayed 12th, so we've held position off the grid. And I'm okay with burning through the ERS here, because if we can stay with these Red Bulls on the Ferrari, and of course we do have a Red Bull engine this year, so, you know, they shouldn't have anything extra down the... Of course, we had a Ferrari engine last year. But if we can stay with them, once the DRS opens, it's going to be really difficult. We've seen it before to pull away around this track, because... well, there's just so many DRS zones. We've got Sargeant getting past Gasly. Magnussen making life difficult for Perez. There he goes past Perez. Fastest lap of the race as well, though it means nothing really on the first lap. And there's a big part of me here tempted to save a bit of ERS, actually. We're going to be in this scrap, it looks like. So let's just go back to neutral. And let's go check on Sargeant, who is in a bit of a train here as well. And unlikely to lose out. So let's go back to neutral on him as well. Go back to Magnussen here. There's the battle for the lead right in front of us. As we come down the sweeping back section. And we are about to find DRS open. And we are about to be... Well, I mean, we're right in this race. Massively in this race. Of course, there's only the 48 laps to go, so a lot can happen yet. But DRS is open.
DRS enabled. And,
well, K-Mag looking at a podium position right now. We've, of course, had 2 third places, haven't we? Never been beyond the bottom step of the podium. Could this be the race? So, here we go, down the front straight, currently sitting in second, and we're going to find K-Mag DRSing past Verstappen and into the lead of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And there's scrapping between, what's that, Leclerc and Hamilton behind as well. So, there we go, leading a Grand Prix for, what's this, second or third time perhaps. Certainly the second time on pace, I would say. Oh, K-Mag! From the lead group, he's locked up. K-Mag strikes again, and he's down to 5th, and he's lost the DRS on the lead group as well. Oh, Kevin. Look at him up there in 3rd, and he's just locked it up. I mean, you could have kept going, mate. You don't need to stop. But that, well, that really hurts his chances of a podium, doesn't it? Oh, K-Mag, when will you learn, man? So we've now got K-Mag dropping back into the clutches of the train of cars behind. I mean, we've completely lost touch with the leaders. We really did need the DRS to stay with them. What I don't want to happen now is to drop back and instead of being in a battle for a win or a podium, be in a battle for just to score points. So that is... I mean, that's what happens when you lock up your brakes, isn't it? But there we go. Look at them. A distant memory. 6 seconds they are behind now. Ah, Kevin. Okay, so we have some pit stops happening. What we're going to do is we're going to use up as much of this medium tyre as we can. And then we will look to stop K-Mag and Sargeant. We're currently, well, with pit stops, Magnussen's up to 3rd. And we've got Sargeant sitting there in 9th. That will obviously all change. But, yeah, it's just such a disappointing thing for Magnussen. He was right in that group. And, well, I mean, we could have stopped with them. We, in theory, would have... No, we'll keep them both up. You know, in theory, we would have stopped with them. We would have come back out into the DRS as well and been on for a really, really good result. As it stands now, I mean, we're sort of part safety car hanging... actually, K-Mag needed to stop that lap. God damn it. Yeah, we're sort of part safety car hanging, and we're just swearing under our breaths at Magnussen because he keeps locking up those brakes. Anyway, Kevin. He'll come in this lap. We will bring in Sargeant. Should have come in that lap as well. I've stuffed this up now, trying to go long. Let's hope there's a big enough gap between the two of them. What are we looking at here? Sargeant. It'll be close, but it's probably just about doable. It's not really, they're both there, but we're double stacking anyway. Sargeant did have to wait a little bit, but not too long. And we've come out 11th and 13th, but fresher tyres. So let's hope that that stands us in good stead later on in this race. Alright, so we have had all the hard starters have come in now to stop. So K-Mag is back up to 6th. Actually, I think Ocon has still got to stop. So that should be back up to 5th. He does have Gasly and Russell right with him. There's Ocon stopping now. So, yeah, currently sitting 5th. But if we look at the tyres, we can see we've got some medium runners behind us that will be coming at a rate of knots. And with 14 laps to go, there might come a time when we can look to push these tyres on a little bit more. Actually, we could probably make that time now because we're trending very much in the right direction with him. Sargeant's a little bit more marginal, but he's sitting currently in 11th. right behind Alonso, though Alonso is going to be on the medium tyre. So a safety car now would make this an interesting race. But it looks as though Magnussen is sort of fighting for a best case scenario of 5th. Sargeant currently in the points, and he's unlikely to finish any higher than 10th unless, as I say, the safety car comes out and changes all that for us as Vettel locks up, but that's not going to affect us too much. We have had a competitor crash. I don't think we're going to get a safety car. It is Sainz, though. Now, is Sainz behind us? I don't know. But we've got K-Mag up into 5th now, and Sargeant 11th, though presumably Sainz is going to need to stop if he's crashed. But you can see he is desperately trying to hold off Ocon, who's going to be on the medium tyres. So, yeah, Sargeant is unlikely to score a point here. In fact, he's about to drop out of the points as we watch, unfortunately. And Sainz, has he stopped? I don't think he has. So, wasn't much of a crash, was it? But anyway. Oh, that's ambitious, Esteban. Some nice racing here. Show him the war, Logan. Don't let him boss you around, mate. As we now are in the DRS. That's not going to help Sargeant out at all, is it?
Keep your head down.
And there indeed is Esteban past him, but he will get DRS. But we're sort of fighting over 11th with this battle, so there's not too much going on there. If we look back to Magnussen, he does have a battle going with Russell that's been ongoing for a number of laps now. And, well, he's got straight past him, as is customary, really, with DRS, isn't it? But we might stay with this. We'll go double speed, and there's, what, 6 laps to go. It's been sort of the race I was expecting it to be, but we're just in the wrong battle. I really do think we could have been in a battle with Hamilton for 4th. Instead, we're in a battle with Russell for 5th. But you know what? Hamilton's not a mile away from us. So you never know. Maybe... Is that him up there, actually? We might be... You know, this still might be on for 4th. K-Mag looking left, looking right. No way past there. And with DRS, are we going to get away past now? Again, left and right we go. That is Hamilton in front, I think. I'm fairly sure. And I fully expect to see, there he is, coming straight back past old George Russell. But we are almost within DRS of Hamilton. So we're both going to get Hamilton here. What's his tyres? I mean, his tyres are in a better condition than K-Mag's. This makes me wonder, are we pushing K-Mag a little bit too hard? Maybe we are. But, well, if we can rescue a P5 out of this, then that's something. Because that's where we were battling anyway, you know. So... And if we can get P4, then that may have been as good as we could have got anyway. Because are we going to have beaten two Red Bulls and a Ferrari? You would argue over the course of a race, possibly not. But, yeah, anyway. We'll never know, will we? But let's see if we can get Hamilton, as he appeared to let Russell past. And, well, he's going to have DRS now to help tow him along. And anyone with deja vu? Magnussen stuck behind Hamilton. We'll just have to back off the gas a little bit here. Maybe save a little bit for a last lap desperation lunge if needed. I'm looking at Sargeant in 12th. He's just kind of in a bit of an island. Ocon's got past him and disappeared up the road. So, and the thing is, if we were to get a safety car now, it's debatable if it would even... the race would restart. So... yeah, there's not much point using his errors, but here we go. Can we get a double overtake done? We can on one. Can we get past Hamilton as well? K-Mag on the outside. It's not going to be easy from here, and he's not going to quite get it done. But what we might actually want to do here, if we try and harvest, because we'll have DRS behind Hamilton to suck us along. And really, what we don't want to do with 2.5 laps to go, we want to be trying to make the overtake into the final corner. We don't want to be overtaking him before that. And if we're going to get an overtake done even in harvest mode, that tells you something, doesn't it? Now, he's going to almost certainly get back past us down this straight. There he goes, which is not a bad thing, because we've got DRS. to come back at him down this one. And we don't overtake, which is exactly what we wanted, although we do have Russell on our outside. We don't really want to be behind both of them. But we're getting a nice little bit of recharge done here. And as we come on to the last lap, we will be able to have a nice old go at them both. And of course, we'll get that really big dose of a recharge into turn 1 as well. So I think the plan, what we kind of want to do here, is to make sure we stay in DRS range. But we're going to want to take one into sort of that corner, and then another one, although we'll take Hamilton down here if we can. And let's go on to overtake as Verstappen starts the last lap. Got a little bit of extra petrol we can use. Can we get a double overtake done? Can we get a double overtake done? We're past Russell. We lunge up the inside of Hamilton, and it is not quite there yet. But we are on the right side. No, not quite. Not quite.
Starting final lap.
Let's save that little bit of petrol to the end. Let's go back to neutral, because we're in the perfect position here to try and nick 4th. What we want is going into that last corner, we want to be getting past him. Sargeant is again in no man's land, 6 seconds ahead of him to Ocon. Norris is 20 seconds back, so not really much to see there. Let's just whack him on harvest here. We don't want to be overtaking too early.
Charge on. Got it.
Go back to new. We don't want to overtake him here, mate. We don't want to overtake.
Cover that.
But of course, what we don't want to do is be overtaken by Russell. Okay, here we go. Overtake. We've got a little bit of extra petrol to use. This is it. This is where we want to make the move. This is where we want to make the move. Go on, K-Mag. He swoops around the outside. And Kevin Magnussen goes up to 4th in the Grand Prix. Now, if he can just stop the car, which he can, get out of this corner nice and clean. And there we go. Oh, is he going to get there? DRS is open, but it's too little too late. And K-Mag will come across and finish in 4th place. That's probably the best we could have got anyway, so I'm very, very happy with that. Sargeant, well, he's coming around now, and a bit of a disappointing race from him, I've got to be honest, but maybe we didn't have quite the right strategy. He's going to come across in 12th, but a good day for the team. So 12 points for K-Mag. Would you call it a recovery drive? Possibly. I mean, like I say, I don't know. Even if we hadn't locked up, let me know what you guys think. I'm not sure that we would have been able to beat the Red Bulls and the Ferrari anyway. But what that does show is that even with that mistake, we are faster than Hamilton. Which I think we were just about showed that in Bahrain, and we confirmed it here, that we possibly, in the hands of Kevin Magnussen, have the 3rd fastest car on the grid. Yeah, well, 3rd fastest team car, I suppose. So that's all excellent. And with Sainz having a bit of a mishap, it works in our favour as well. So K-Mag up 3 to 6th in the championship. Sargeant down 2 to 12th. And the constructors, we move above McLaren into 5th, 2 points back of Alfa Romeo in 4th. And this is our battle, I think, this year. If we can get 4th, then we'll have had a very good year. But there we go, guys. That is that. If you've enjoyed that, make sure you hit thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. K-Mag gets a development point straight into braking. And Frederick, despite doing FP1, still doesn't have anything extra. So until next time, I've been Aussie on. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time as we go out in Melbourne. Take care.